So I was writing my own songs tonight, which are always talking about things that actually matter and things that actual, real, hardworking, traumatized people experience in society every single day. And it makes me think because I've noticed that the only rappers and the only people that blow up are people that just talk about the most superficial shit that most of the time isn't even saying anything. A great one being Ice Spice's cute little bitches think they the shit, but they're not even the fart, which I understand is catchy and cute and funny, but like most people that blow up in America are people that just say lyrics that are just saying absolutely nothing. But even worse, a lot of the time they also promote like emotional abuse, cruelty, narcissism, competitiveness. And I know that it's like, oh, shut up, it's not that deep. But it kind of is. The same way that everything is, if you're one of the 2% that actually thinks, which apparently, and doesn't just like consume and take it and just allow their subconscious to be polluted. And it really is true because like if you consume a bunch of narcissistic vague, like fairly meaningless lyrics that are just talking about getting this money and I shit on these bitches and these hoes wish they were my witches. I don't, whatever it is that they say that generally has the consensus that like, the world is about me and I don't give a fuck about anybody. I won the big economic, narcissistic, sociopathic game, and now I get to shit on the rest of you for the rest of my life because apparently winning an evil system is something to be shouted out and celebrated in mainstream music. And I can understand that these songs are catchy and that most people just listen to most music, usually just because it's catchy. Even I do it. But as I've gotten older and as I've learned how the world works, I don't think it's a coincidence that most lyrics that blow up in most pop stars and rappers, especially in America, tend to be people that promote this idea of getting money and just worrying about yourself and being a deranged narcissist and only caring about yourself and making fun of everybody else and saying, oh, these bitches wish they had it in them, and taking people down and like it's all about me, 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 me. And it's kind of sad to me because when I actually look up these rappers' Instagrams or just, anybody who's like saying these lyrics, I don't know. They're just kind of like a woman. And I don't mean that in a like necessarily a bad way. I don't like these rappers, but like they're just like regular woman like everyone else. And I always wonder like what's actually going through their head because in my personal opinion, it's so anti-human nature to be like, it's all about me and everyone sucks and I'm amazing and look at all my money. Ha 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 ha. Like, I don't know. Like I can understand being in a temporary manic mood maybe, but for a lifestyle, like that just sounds so miserable to me. And it's so frustrating. American society is so frustrating because everything is so fake. And nobody is ever actually saying anything. Not in blown up songs, not on their Instagram social media pages. Anybody who actually has a voice is not actually saying anything. And it just makes me wonder what it feels like to live such a superficial, narcissistic, self-interested lifestyle. Like I genuinely do wonder, not in the sense that I wonder about them specifically, but I just wonder, just like in general, like I just wonder about everybody like in general. Because most social media apps are pretty meaningless. Most people, when you go to work, they don't really talk about anything of what they're actually saying or thinking or what they're actually feeling. And for me personally, even with the very few people in my personal life, like nobody actually ever talks about how inhuman and superficial and narcissistic everything is. And for me personally, like if I was someone who had genuine, true success like that, um, and as I get older, I'm starting to learn that I don't even want it because most people that reach success seems like they have to like sell themselves a certain way in order to get to that point. But like, it just makes me like genuinely like wonder like how you could ever be happy living such an anti-community, like hyper individualistic lifestyle, like in my own personal way, because I'm unique in my own way, whether the world sees it or not. Um, I feel very separated from most people, and it's very, very miserable. Like, it's not fun. It's fun some of the time to feel like you're better than a lot of people, and it can be kind of exciting. But most of the time, it's not fun. It's actually completely fucking miserable. And I've found myself hating everyone, like pretty much literally almost everyone. And I have every single popular social media app in existence, and I've had it and used it every single day for like 15 years. So I know what most people tend to think, because that's like almost like literally a billion plus people, especially if you include TikTok. Um, and it just drives me kind of crazy. Like, it just makes me crazy that like nobody is genuinely a good person. Your manager's not a good person because they're just using you, and they know they're not paying you enough. Yeah, I mean, unless they're totally out of touch, which they can't be if they manage to make their own business. The rappers you listen to are being fake. You know, the music that you listen to is fake. The songs that everybody's quoting is fake. Celebrities are selfish. You know, and most influencers are also selfish. Like, everything is just so corrupted, and the people that aren't corrupted nobody cares about because they're not, you know, doing the flashy narcissistic brainwashing game. I'm genuinely convinced that most people, whether they're successful or not, are just playing this massive plastic, like, tail in between their legs facade game. Like, you know, while being a narcissist and lunging over and lusting over money and acting like it's so amazing to think that I'm better than everyone and to be a hyper individual, is such a fun lifestyle. So I'm going to rap about that, and I'm going to pretend like it's happiness. And but I don't think that anyone actually feels that way long term. Especially once you get over the high of like being better than everybody, if you know what I'm saying. Um, and I do think that you know, people have certain virtues and certain strengths, but I don't think that thinking you're better than everybody leads to a good lifestyle. Maybe for some people it does feel that way. I'm not saying that I can read people's minds, but I think that this might not necessarily be revolutionary, but I don't think that anyone is genuinely happy with the way that things are. Not maybe in like a financial way, you know, maybe like in the sense that certain people can do whatever they want, but it's very, very anti-human, and it's very anti-community. And like I said, I would be so miserable if I were to stand up every day and to rap about how much better I think I am than everyone and shitting on these bitches and whatever else it is that they say. And just being like really petty, like for a living, like literally for a living. um, and it just makes me wonder, like, why more American songs don't blow up that's actually saying something, like talking about how, you know, at the fact that people are suffering emotionally and physically because they don't have genuine connections, and that there's no place to get to know each other. There's no place for people to genuinely express themselves and be cared about. You know, about the fact that human lives basically are not cared about in comparison to media consumption and items and pretty much anything that people can do to distract themselves. And I never see any songs that even remotely captures that. It's all just the most like fluffy, like romantic lyrics, or it's like narcissistic gangster rap about money. And I know the way that most people are, and most people tend to allow their subconsciouses to be like polluted, so to speak. And whatever it is that they consume all day, they kind of just subconsciously take that attitude. And I think it's the reason why even unsuccessful people are just like vapid narcissists these days, because everybody's listening to these songs that either aren't saying anything, that's just fluffy, repetitive, romantic music like Taylor Swift, or they are listening to these narcissistic, extremely like saying nothing, but at the same time also abusing people, like emotionally rappers. And it's influenced the way everybody thinks. And I don't think that America wants genuinely meaningful lyrics, and it can be catchy. Of course it can, but I don't think that America wants genuinely meaningful lyrics to be made, or genuinely meaningful artists, because that would slowly start to make people think more. And of course we can't have that. Everybody needs to be a narcissist where they think that the only point of their life is for them as an individual to be the exception to suffering. And, you know, it's not about solving the problems of people around them. It's just about solving their own problem, because life is cruel, and grow up and get over it because everybody else has had to. So that must make it okay. Yeah, sure. It's just very, 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 very disgusting.